Hi, so we've already introduced how I made Stray Kids. Now, let's talk about the group. So, I'm not going to do it like, from their genesis up until where they are. I'm just going to talk about what I think about the group. I think one of the things I like the most about Stray Kids is the way you can't perceive envy or jealousy from the members. I feel like they've done a really good job of presenting themselves more of family than workmates. And I think it's actually very difficult to be able to perceive that they are workmates until they begin to talk about the fact that this is a job for them and not just something they're doing as friends who love what they're doing. That's the impression you get for the most part. Excuse my lighting, I'm using natural lighting. Yeah. um and I think that's such a beautiful thing in the industry like theirs. Of course, there are pros and cons, and I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritties of it because I don't think I'm well informed enough to talk about the system that is K-pop. But the way that they present themselves as a group is so interesting to me, and I think a lot of that, it stems from, yes, every one of the members, but I think in particular, Pang Chan has a real role in the way that he handles the group. Those guys are so mature, and I think a lot of people don't understand how intentional, intelligent, tactical, talented, and just neurodivergent you have to be to come across as quirky, a little bit of like how they would say like a pebble, um carefree, not so serious, and actually be serious about something. I think a lot of people misunderstand or fail to perceive the amount of work that goes into coming off like what you're doing is light work when it isn't. It's a very difficult thing to do. And for them to have mastered it not only in one area. Yeah. So it's the fact that they haven't only done it in one area, because it's possible to pull it off, right? Like in terms of maybe their interaction, but then maybe you find in terms of performance, you can see like, oh, they're putting in work, or they can pull it off in terms of performance, but maybe then the relational aspect is lacking. You can say, oh, these are just workmates and whatnot, or their content. But when they even when they have their concept, whether it's Two Kids Room, whether it's SKZ Code, whatever it is, it looks like we've just been invited into their space. And honestly speaking, I think if you can't comprehend the depth of that work, sometimes I feel you fail to appreciate the overall value of how much work these people put into their craft. And sometimes it really does break my heart to see people reduce them to just like their looks and their sex appeal and whatnot. I mean, they do sell it. It is part of um the branding to get people to like them and whatnot. But really, even beyond their looks, beyond their sex appeal, beyond their charm, which they have a lot of, they really do have a lot of, the way that their minds work individually but are all locked into the team mindset is amazing to me. It's immaculate work. It goes beyond just signing up for a job. That's a soul thing. Like they've all locked into the dream, and they've all locked into the vision, and they're executing it. And I think, again, we don't see how much. Remember, these people didn't know each other their whole lives. They came together because of this dream to be a star, to be whatnot. They didn't even know who they would debut with or who they would end up with. But to be able to lock in the way they have, it's why they are who they are. I think I've never seen a group so well coordinated in their oneness that you can't imagine Stray Kids without any of the members. You know how sometimes you see people and you're like, yeah, they are good together, but even if that one wasn't there, it would still be, that. Not Stray Kids. Each of the members has mastered who they are and who they are in the team, to the point where if you thought of Stray Kids without any of the members, it just wouldn't be Stray Kids. It wouldn't. Like, no matter how popular or more searched one of the members might be, or two or three or four of the members are in comparison to others, the others are not NPCs. Like, all of them hold first place. And I think, like, it's ludicrous for anybody who hasn't maybe understood the system behind what they present, would be like, oh no, this member is more important, or this member is more important, or that member. And it's so, in as much as I like them, they give me chills. They give me like goosebumps to see people who have unlocked such a depth of knowing, of being, of understanding, of functioning, of drive, of vision, of ambition, and being able to pull it off. And that's why I think so many people who are fans of Stray Kids begin to pick up in life. You just can't be lazy if you're truly a fan of Stray Kids, because they are not lazy people. You see them, like, when you look at where they started from. I remember seeing like some of their songs, and like one of my favorite love songs, I think I have two, which I really like. I feel like, oh my god, this is a love song. And one of them is Mirrors by Justin Timberlake, and the other one is I Am You by Stray Kids. And the depth, because of the depth of the song, when you look at their beginning tracks, you could see almost this desperation, this hunger to be accepted, to be understood, almost like a panic, where you could tell they were not sure whether this would work or not. But the effort, even if they were a rookie group, I didn't know about much about K-pop until then, but honestly, their rookie level is some people's mature level of performance, and they've only gotten better. And usually when somebody starts off so well, you would think as they continue to grow, they'll most likely fall off, they'll most likely begin to relax. Not Stray Kids, not Stray Kids, not Stray Kids, because the more they've grown, the more you can see that hunger. And even when you hear them talk, and you can see like, oh yeah, they are tired, they've been doing this for a really long time, and they need time off. They're not talking about like military service and whatnot. You can see that they've become more confident in who they are, rightfully so, right? They've achieved so much, but you can still see that hunger in all of them. And that's such a rare trait to have, because that's something you can't pretend. It's either it's there or it's not, and it's there. And I'm going to highlight it like for each of the members in their own video. I respect all the members the same, and respect all their individual talents and work, but I think for me, the one whose mindset amuses, inspires, but also gives me real, is fear the right word? Could be, I don't know, is Bangchan. That man's mind is something else. It really is something else. And I think if you don't have the ability to discern that, you don't appreciate who he is entirely, right? So let's now start the member videos, and see ya.